Hey, Jade fucking Nelson here with the two Fat Guys You Go podcast. And my co-host,
I am Manball.
Manball Godfat.
Thank you.
Great to see you again.
I'm glad to be back.
No, you're not. Okay, so some things are happening
Shit's going on, whatever.
in the game.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, things are happening in the card game right now. I think a lot of shit's moving at a tidal wave speed.
Yeah.
Where it's just if you don't open up the good hand, you're not gonna fucking win. I'm only talking about the competitive scene. But let's back up for a minute. I'm only talking about the competitive scene.
Right.
Remember when you weren't?
Well,
Remember when you weren't competitive?
yeah.
I think everybody does too. So, we all had cards and certain decks and archetypes that drew us in as players.
Yeah.
And they weren't really competitive.
Yeah. Or good.
Or good. So, let's talk about that for a minute. For instance, Manball. What would be probably the shittiest / stupid deck that you've ever played? That even if it's in the beginning or maybe towards the end, towards now, what's the stupidest thing you tried to put together?
Oh man, there's a lot of those.
Right? When we all started, we're all scrubs.
Oh well, I know. Really early on, I tried to do Dino Jinzo.
Whoa! How early? How early are we talking?
I mean, that was
When Joey was the main protagonist.
when Joy was my man.
No, when was that around?
That was when those cards were around.
Okay, so how'd that turn out?
Bad.
How bad?
Occasionally you'd see a Jinzo.
Did you ever win games?
I won one game because there was one game I actually won, and I ended my board with Jinzo Lord, and Ultimate Tyranno.
Hey, not bad.
When it actually worked, that 1 in a million shot, it was actually pretty good. You'd get a lot of summons and just keep going from there.
I gotta say, probably one of my most shitty decks in the entire world when I was first starting playing. I think it was 10 years ago. Whew, it was the deck kind of concentrated on getting your graveyard stacked
Right.
with monsters. my best monster in the deck, the guy I would always go to, and I would be so glad to summon. He'd be like the card I would get, and I'd be like, I won.
Fuck yeah.
Chaos Necromancer. Easily the best card in the game. Anyways, so he gains I think it's 300 attack.
Yeah, something really
Or even
shitty.
a 100 attack.
I think it actually might be 100 attack for each monster.
per monster. Not good. And then Cemetery Bomb.
Cemetery Bomb, yeah.
So that was my first run in. I if I may, a second one was a chaos thing.
Right.
And it relied on Chaos Rider Gustav.
Oh.
Yeah, this
Only
is
that was the
back in the day. I mean,
that was the best.
picked up my first Jinzo. I was like, dope. I got this. Just summon Jinzo and then summon Chaos Rider Gustav. So good. So I gotta say, I mean, okay. So when it came into you're starting to learn what competitive play is. You're starting to learn what good cards are. Was there still bad decks that you kind of got into?
I mean, I still make bad decks.
Well, let's talk about okay, for instance, when did you realize getting into competitive Yu-Gi-Oh? You got the cards to do it. You played against people. What was the first deck that was, I'm doing air quotes right now, shitty, but had good cards in it? Cards like Monster Reborn or Heavy Storm or.
For me, Black Wings.
Okay.
Because I
feel like you need to expound upon that because a lot of players think Black Wings are tier O.
Black Wings are a very weird deck in the aspect of they have thousands of cards, half of them good.
I mean, I would say Black Wings back in Black Wing format, obviously were tier zip.
Yeah.
They were fucking good.
That shit was nice, but
Yeah. Getting Arbor Master out was kind of one.
It took me when I was, growing up. It was hard to get a lot of good things.
Sure, because you're a kid, you're broke.
Right. And I didn't like GX all that much. I liked fusioning.
Get your game on.
I loved fusioning, and I still love fusioning. It's my favorite extra deck type. But Neo sucked Destiny heroes were hard to get.
I gotta say, if I may interrupt you real quick, I gotta say, Neos is such a nostalgia card for me.
Neos is cool.
He's awesome. Like, I mean, look at all those rad fusions. Like, you know, there was the Grand Mole Neos, there was the
there's
Air
only,
Neos.
There's only one Neos that's actually still good. Rainbow Neos.
Is that still good?
That big 45 attack fusion that can discard.
Was that
a card.
with Rainbow Dragon ends?
Yeah, and Neos.
What a field.
Yeah.
What if?
Well, you don't have to have them on the field, but
pretty garbo. I mean,
it's not the easiest thing to do. It's not the best, but
not the greatest.
I mean, as far as like boss monsters still go, though, like it's still a pretty solid card. It's non-targeting, shuffle everything into the deck.
I gotta say, like once I first pulled it, the Grand Mole Neos guy, his artwork looked incredible, and I think it was secret rare.
I don't remember.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say it was secret rare.
Probably.
But pulling that card and seeing his artwork, I was like, this card looks insanely epic. Like this is a cool
It's shiny
card.
and it looks cool. It's gotta be good.
Right. And the pack before that, I pulled an ultimate rare Grand Mole.
Oh, okay.
And so I was like, I can make this, and it was trash. But
it was great when Grand Mole was on the field.
yeah, it was fantastic.
Then you fusioned with it and regretted everything.
But yeah, you were saying something about Black Wings, about when you were building Black Wings, when that was your thing, and
well, because like I didn't grow up with like a huge scene.
Okay,
it's basically just me and like a couple friends.
Sure.
So we did.
It was kind of like a playful hobby type of thing.
Yeah. We didn't like super follow ban lists.
Okay.
I mean, we weren't like super cheeky with it.
Right.
But there were certain cards that we would.
You weren't like seriously competitive as you are like say today.
Right.
But, yeah.
We had a thing we called ban list roulette, which we would take every card that was on the ban list, limited, semi-limited, or banned, and we would put him in like a little hat thing and shuffle it up and pull that card out. And now that card is at 3.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun, actually.
My buddy and I, my old roommate and I used to do that. We would make up our own rules, like the top decking rule. Say if you had only one card in your hand, or if you had no cards in your hand, you drew 5. To kind of up the ante, like to make it more fun, whatever, because we were bad. But yeah, so Black Wings.
I mean, all I gotta say is Black Wings with Change of Heart was fun.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. So when you started getting into competitive,
also, the Black Forest forever. Search all my Black Wings.
when you get into competitive play, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
The first deck I played that was competitive.
Yeah.
Is that what we're talking about?
Well, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind when I say, or when anybody says, competitive play, competitive deck, meta.
Well, when I think meta, honestly, the first thing I think of is Dragon Rulers.
Yeah. And you look at their extra deck. There it was, what was it, 3 big eyes and 2 Draco Sacks, or 3 Draco Sacks and 2 big eye. What was the the one thing that those cards had in common? Fucking expensive as shit.
Yep.
I think Draco Sack was around, I'd say 150 to about 170.
At its peak, yeah.
At its peak. And then Big Eye was right behind it. Like, I mean, kind of
because
bad.
Both of the main decks at that point used them.
Yeah, absolutely. So. And it was pretty bad. Yeah, well, yeah, like, High Priestess of Prophecy and like Spellbook of Judgment, like all that kind of stuff. Super expensive. It gets to a point when you play like, competitive decks and you play competitive meta or whatever. You kind of get out of your stupid deck phase and you want to play more serious and you want to play with, a bigger attendance. You want to play with bigger stakes and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
So of course you're going to go to competitive play. The biggest thing about competitive play, I think, is the price of things.
Yeah.
You don't buy a couple packs of cards to hopefully pull the card you need.
Especially if it's a 3 of.
Especially if it's 3 of, i.e. Paw Desires, or i.e. Dante or something like that.
Still a 3.
Yeah. The biggest thing is expense.
Yeah.
And, if you're a kid playing the game, or if you're just brand new to the game and you're playing a game with your friends, that's not going to be the main issue. is going to be a competitive deck and getting the competitive cards, the expensive cards to make your deck, on par with competitive play. So that kind of leads me to my next point. Like Pod Desires, for example, like right now in the meta with Metal Foe, with Burning Abyss,
with everything
coming out with ABC, like all this kind of shit. It's an $80 card. It's roughly an $80 card.
A piece, yeah.
Has there ever been in your time playing Yu-Gi-Oh where you wanted to get competitive, but also you needed this 3 of card that was expensive?
The money card that you couldn't afford.
Was there ever a time that happened to you?
Plenty.
Yeah.
One of the main ones I can remember too, which is probably the most recent time it happened, was with Burning Abyss when it first came out.
Okay.
I had 1 Dante.
Okay. I think the biggest thing is like when
multi-construct.
When players want to, I don't know, kind of step out of the budget, the casual play, and they want to go into more like premier events, like I'm not calling regionals a premier event, but like regionals or like YCS or whatever. They need to get that kind of 3F card. But the biggest thing about that is that, a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, that competitive card, that 3F card is going to be expensive.
Most of the time, yeah.
The biggest thing I have a really hard time adjusting to is cards like, okay, for example, when Master Hyperion deck was a deck.
Yeah.
About 4 years ago. 4 years. Am I right about that? About 4 years.
About that.
About 4 years. Okay.
I don't remember the exact time.
When that structure came out, of course it was a powerhouse of a deck.
Yeah.
Agent of Venus. Holy shit! What a card. But that wasn't the card to tie it together, was it? It was Tour Guide.
Yeah.
Now, at that point in time, you got a lot of players saying, well, you don't need Tour Guide to make agents good. Talk to the people who topped with it then. Talk to the people who got first, who got second, who got, whatever. Top 8, top 16. I think...
You don't have to. You're just immediately outclassed if you don't.
That's the thing. I mean, if you're immediately outclassed about a certain card, that's going to cause some problems in your competitive play. At that point in time, you got the argument, like I just said, of you don't need that card for the deck to be good. You're right. You're absolutely right. However, that single card will lead you into bigger victories than any other card.
Yeah.
And so it kind of goes to this point I'm trying to make of, complaining about an expensive card, thus making it I'm doing air quotes, bad card.
Right.
Like right now, you got Pod Desires. That I think that's probably the biggest example in a long time.
Yeah.
Metal Foes. And I mean it. Metal Foes are not competitive unless you have 2 or 3 Pod Desires.
Any Pendulum deck, honestly, I think can just really utilize the extra cards. Most Pendulum decks, all you need is just Pendulum cards.
Yeah.
So once it doesn't matter what happens, just see Pendulum cards.
Right. I don't think the expense of a 3F card should have any, I guess, down point to actually running the 3 of the card. If you can trade for it, if say you pull 3, I mean, fucking awesome.
I mean, we've known someone who pulled 2 from 1.
Jesus Christ. Play it. But if you can't get a hold of that 3 of card, that competitive, overlapping card, don't bitch about it. Don't deem it a bad card. Don't bitch about it. Just
it's not like you saying it's bad. It's gonna make everyone drop it. And look, it's cheap now. That's not how it works.
That's not how it works. And unfortunately, that's how the Yu-Gi-Oh market works. Cards like, especially like Pod. Remember when Pod of Duality first came out?
Yeah, it was really.
You saw decks like X-Sabers.
Mm-hmm.
And what did X-Sabers do effectively? Special summon over and over and over until they make these unrelenting boards of like Bryonic and Hunley and Fall Troll and all that other kind of stuff. But what did they all have in common that kind of built them over the edge? Pod duality.
Yeah.
But what does duality say? You can't special summon. That doesn't matter. It didn't matter. It just mattered seeing another card. Seeing another card is the best thing in the game.
Absolutely.
Getting your hands on a resource is by far the best aspect of the game. So, I mean, I'm going back to the Hyperion thing, the agent thing. Mm-hmm. When you get a card like Agent of Venus, you pay 2,000 light points. You special the Shining Balls. It's getting a resource out. You go into Gachi. It was great.
Hell yeah. Could you mention we had Sky Cavalry back then? Sorry, I'm just thinking now we have access to rank 2s that aren't
good rank 2s
that aren't just
that is not named Gachi. But yeah, so you got cards like, of course that's a good card. Of course it is. But Tour Guide's gonna get you in it. Like Tour Guide's gonna dig you in it.
Yeah.
You know. Now, I mean, the biggest thing is I'm comparing Tour Guide to Pod Desires. I don't want to do that. I'm not saying that I'm doing that. You know, Tour Guide was about a $200 card.
Yeah.
Pod Desires, it peaked at 80. So, or maybe is even still peaking. Who knows? But, I don't know. So, I mean, you look at, certain decks that are, that have all that kind of support and have that that leading competitive edge. Even weird decks like Karakiri, for example, like that was a strange deck.
Yeah.
From, would it be fair to say 4 years ago too?
I don't remember when a lot of this shit happened.
Yeah, I mean it's strange.
Everything's kind of clumped together.
Let's just say 4 years ago.
Sure.
That deck was not competitive by any means, but
it was fun.
You could do a lot of shit with it.
You could do some cool shit with it.
And it saw some tops.
Yeah.
Weirdly. But that deck had the proper support to carry it.
Yeah.
To that extent.
Yeah, it didn't need a whole lot of other stuff.
Exactly. And like Blackwings, when they first came out, they had the proper support to carry them to number one. X-Sabers to number one. Insectors to number one. Even right off the rip, the first set got them enough support to go off, into the meta play. But decks like Windups, for example, that came out in Photon Shockwave, I want to say. And the secret rare of that set was Windup Rabbit. You got some of the Windup stuff. I think Windup Factory was in that set. You just got, the clump of Windup cards in that. But the next set after that came out Zen Mighty.
Yeah, and that's when shit got real.
That's when shit hit the fan. Windup Shark, that's when shit hit the fucking fan. That's when that deck became nuts.
It was like, it went from, you can make an Exceed to, you can make a fucking Exceed.
You can make an Exceed to, yeah, you're not playing anymore.
Stop.
Stop. Get some help. So that's the other thing I want to talk about. Like when it comes to support, like, it took 2 sets for Windups to be a fucking devastating meta force into making Zen Mighty still banned. Like,
yeah. They're still hesitant at giving us fucking Windup Magician.
That surprised me when
yeah,
kind of came off the list. It was like, ooh, really? Okay.
We're trying this, huh?
It's not going to happen. I mean, but so when it comes to certain archetypes, and I don't want to be biased here at all. Right. I don't want to talk about my favorite deck. I don't want you to talk about your favorite deck.
Right.
I'm sure it's going to lead back to that. But for right now, let's just keep it open-minded. What do you think, what's an archetype, if you could choose one, that could get the proper support? Not necessarily to make it meta, but to just make it flow better.
Enough of a push.
Enough of a push, yes. You could see it in regional play. You could see it in tournament play. I mean,
I don't know. It's kind of hard because a lot of the decks I think about immediately are actually getting support.
I mean, weirdly now, we're getting a lot of support for different decks, which is awesome. But
I'm trying to think of...
I mean, if it came down to it, what's one deck that you really think that needs support could get it?
This is going to sound hilarious and shitty.
Okay.
One deck that is very... It's not a good deck. It's never been a good deck, but it always felt like it could be.
Okay.
Arcana Force.
Oh, man. That was introduced in Light Destruction. I remember that now.
I've always said that there's
The World,
they have some really good cards.
They really do. They
Like
really
Fool's
actually
pretty
do.
decent.
Fool's great.
And World is amazing.
Fool, I want to say, was kind of like a Spirit Reaper, in the sense that yeah.
And you could just creature swap it.
Yep.
In attack position.
Yep. Okay, yeah. Arcana Force. What would it need though? Like, would it need like draw power? Would it need like?
I mean, it would need a lot. It would need to fix its own gimmick.
What was its gimmick?
Flipping a coin.
That's right. I forgot about that.
The deck shouldn't be super left up to chance. Like, flipping a coin is fine. You know, like, that's a fine mechanic. But it shouldn't rely on that mechanic for every little effect.
I agree.
You shouldn't have to neg 3 just because you flipped tails. Like,
yes. Like, Arcana Force of the World was probably, at that point in time, a pretty devastating card.
I mean, if it worked, you fucking won.
If it worked, you won.
And still, if it works, you win.
If it didn't, you lost.
Yeah.
You got a 50-50 chance.
Sorry, I don't mean to...
No, go ahead.
Say that. Like I said, there's always been 2 decks that I've always said that have a lot of good potential. Arcana Force, there's a lot of cards that they're missing, too, by the way. So they could kind of fix that into it and work its gimmick a bit.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think they'll ever do it, but the other one, which I actually really do think could get some support and be a legit deck, is Venom.
Really? We're talking about the Venom Naga.
Mm-hmm. Venom Snake and Venom Snake Rain and stuff like that.
The Tactical Evolution set.
Yeah.
That set. Yeah, okay. I remember a buddy of mine was really trying hard to pull Venom Naga, the queen.
Venom Naga.
The secret one. Yeah.
She was the first card in the game to be unaffected by all the card effects.
And what a card.
She's an amazing card. And honestly, Venom's, if you look at them now, they still have some pretty strong cards. Like, Venom Swamp's not terrible. They just got some good, like, attack reduction. You've got cards that have, like, free spell or spell negation. Like, free spell negation.
I think what they need is, like, draw support and, like, search power and...
I mean, anything like that. Like, anything that would kind of help them get to stuff a bit.
Yeah.
You have anything that would really be, like, a good revival card for, like, reptiles or snakes.
Right.
Like, because, like, you have a card like Snake Rain, which is a ridiculous card.
That's a really good card.
Discard a card, send, like, 3 or 4.
Right.
Like, reptile or venom monsters, I think it's reptiles, actually, from your deck to the graveyard. Like, that is an immediate, like...
That's the thing about that deck, though. They didn't really specify venom monsters. They all just said reptile.
Yeah, and that's another thing is, like...
Which is pretty good.
Like, you could still be able to... Like, you have stuff like King of the Feral Imps who can search, like, any of them.
Yep. Well, even, like, you know, decks like Worms, for example.
Yeah.
Remember Worms?
God,
the DT deck?
Yeah, that would be another one that'd be cool to get support.
They have the best trap card in the fucking game.
As far as, like,
that
a trap
Nebula
card...
thing?
Yeah, as far as a trap card that supports an archetype, they did an amazing job with that.
It's a broken fucking card.
It's still a good combo.
I mean, you win with that card. I don't know. I think with the proper support, Crystal Beasts could be a thing.
I mean, you know what everyone's going to say.
I know.
They just need their 2 pendulum monsters.
Yeah. I mean...
They would need more than that.
It was a fun deck. It by no means was a competitive, but it was fun. And I think it could have the support to make it kind of over the top competitive.
Right.
Now, when it comes to decks that already have support and all that kind of stuff, like right now, for example, like X-Sabers, where are they? They're doing nothing in the meta.
Yeah.
Given the right support.
Yeah.
I mean, that deck is already explosive as diarrhea right now anyways. Like, just give the right push, boards for days.
They attempted to give it a bit of a push in Secrets of Eternity, I think. They gave it a rare.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that card.
And it's a decent card, but it's not enough to push the...
I really forgot about that card. Okay, yeah.
Because they did that, and they also tried to give Constellars a push, too.
Constellars. Yeah.
They were like, here's a couple things, right? And people were like, I mean, it's not bad, but it more.
That's a deck, though, that has been power crept. You know.
Constellars?
No. X-Sabers. Well, and Constellars, yeah. But for real though, if we're talking about decks that could use support, here comes the bias, and you get to be biased about your next pick.
Yay.
Fables. They're a synchro heavy deck that relies on discarding, and it can even be by cost. They still get their effects. They need they don't need a trap support at all, because trap is slow to them. They need a spell card that goes draw stuff or search stuff or whatever. They need a spell card really bad. And even their synchro monsters, like even Leviathan, for example, Fable Leviathan, 3,000 attack. I think it's level 10. Yeah, level 10. When he's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Destroyed and sent to the graveyard. You get to pick up 3 Fabled cards from your graveyard, add them to your hand.
Yeah. Which is amazing, because you have a whole...
You have a whole new play.
Yeah.
You have a whole other play. And like Valkyrius, he was the guy who discard 1 Fiend, draw a card.
Honestly, Fabled's a weird deck to me. I never got the chance to like super play it a whole lot.
Okay.
I watched it be played plenty of times. I always wanted to play it, but...
Right.
But Fable's one of those decks where I saw it, and I saw what it had for its extra deck monsters, and I was like, what?
Yeah, it can make some really weird shit.
It can just... It's weird how, like, its extra deck flows so well with its main deck.
Yeah, it's kind of
ridiculous. You don't see that a whole lot with, like, synchro decks.
And I want to say, like, basically, like, Fables, in my opinion, were the first real deck to really just be cannon fodder for your extra deck. Your extra deck was your deck. It was your bread and butter. It was your win condition.
I mean, any synchro deck really tried to push that, but
I think Fables did it pretty hard.
I mean, Fables were definitely one of the first decks to do it well.
Yeah, I agree. Levels did it second.
Yep.
Anyway, so that's my bias pick.
Mine is immediately Gimmick Puppets.
Okay.
Gimmick Puppets, I love.
Exceed heavy deck.
A very Exceed heavy deck, which is hilarious that it's my favorite deck, even though I love Fusions more.
Yeah. I love Exceeds more than I love Synchros, but Babel's my favorite deck, so...
Gimmick Puppets a weird deck to me, though, because it did okay for itself when it first came out.
It was alright.
Just because it has... Honestly, still, a lot of their Exceeds are still pretty strong.
I think we even saw, like, 2 or 3 regional tops of...
Well, because, like, here's the thing. You see a card like Grinder. Grinder's still an amazing card.
Really good card.
It's a not once per turn, blow something up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can just rank it up into something else that blows something up.
Yep.
Like, the thing with Gimmick Puppets is anytime you would do something, you would feel the input of everything you would do.
Right.
And I know that's the way with, like, Fables, too. Although with Fables, it's kind of inherent because it's a synchro-heavy deck.
Yeah.
But, like, with Exceeding, a lot of times it's like, cool, you're throwing it together, it's doing an effect, and that's it.
Yeah.
But, like, Gimmick Puppets, a lot of their Exceeds, like, they'll do something, and you can follow it up with something.
Yep.
Like, all the spiders and stuff were kind of indirect support for them, because you can do, like...
They were just level 8 or rank 8 support.
Right, but, like, since it can go on, like, rank 8, 9, or 10 dark monsters, you could rank up your stuff and then go into something else.
Right.
And I think Gimmick Puppets are one of the only Exceed-heavy decks that can still rely on, like, rank-up cards, and it still be worth it.
Okay. What card do you think? What kind of push?
Well, first of all, it'd be great if they had one of their, like, 80 million unreleased cards.
Okay.
That would be a good start. Like fucking Scarecrow, which is like a battle fader that's a level 8.
Holy shit, I forgot about that. And does it summon itself?
It can summon itself, and
Oof.
there's like another thing it can do to make itself level.
But can you imagine that in today's meta?
I think you have to like do it with a gimmick monster, like a gimmick puppet monster.
Okay.
I don't remember. Don't quote me on that.
Fuck you.
It's only my favorite deck. Shut up. But like another card could easily come out. I don't mean to be like, oh, instead of being like talk about support would make it better, just shit that didn't come out. But like, you have a card like Gimmick Box, which is, I don't remember if it's a spell or a trap. I think it's a trap even.
Okay.
So they can make it a spell. But it special summons a level 8 Gimmick Puppet monster from your hand. It's
Whoa.
once per turn, and I think if it dies, you take 1,000 damage or some shit like that.
But it's not gonna, because you exceed with it.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Which I think is a good card, but it's not like the most abusable shit in the world because like it's limited to a deck that's not super abusable.
It's still pretty nifty though. Like,
But here's the thing though. It wouldn't do a whole lot in the aspect of it would basically get your 8s from your hand on the field.
and that's fine.
And that's all it would need.
Mm-hmm.
A way to get high level shit
Out of your
my
hand onto the field
is,
where it's useful. Yeah.
which is why like Druid Doll is so good because she can special summon.
Druid Doll's ridiculous. Like that card's really good.
More like that would be nice. Any way to help spam stuff would be nice.
Okay.
Or fucking draw power, or their own foolish would be nice.
Manball just had a seizure.
Let me correct that. Their own foolish that is a bit better. Scissor Arms that could turn itself to level 4 or level 8 would be fucking awesome.
Something I don't want to talk about is indirect support, but I'm just gonna say one thing: Fabled Brionic. That's exactly what he was. Brionic was just discard fodder, send shit back to your hand, effects activate. So good. And every time I summon that, I'd be like, Fabled Brionic? Isn't it just Brionic? Yeah, no, it is. But I'm gonna do some Fabled stuff. There's a lot of, in my opinion, archetypes that need support.
Well, one thing I want to point out real quick. Sorry.
Yeah.
Another thing with Gimmick Puppets that always kind of bugged me though was like it's a rank 8 deck.
Yes.
It's obviously a rank 8 deck. All the
like Blue Eyes.
Whoa. Except it did it first. But the thing is, it's got a lot of rank 4 potential in it. Like it's got a couple rank 4 cards that work well together.
Okay.
Level 4 cards.
Right.
But there's not like a legit way to make it like a rank 4 engine in it.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
Yeah.
Inherently for the deck.
But if they made like a rank 4 Gimmick Puppet, it would make sense.
Yeah, okay. I get it.
Or something level manipulation at that point.
Level manipulation, I think, would be amazing for Gimmick Puppets. More so.
Again, there's another unreleased Gimmick Puppet card that can double the level of a monster.
Ooh.
So
That's neat. But yeah, I think that's a thing. A lot of archetypes in Yu-Gi-Oh that are really needed is support. There's a lot of decks that Konami tried to push in the past, and like i.e. Crystal Beasts or Venom or whatever. Genix. Oh my god. Gem Knights even. I mean, yeah, I'll mention that. Yeah, I'll mention Gem Knights.
All right, how about this Gem Knight support?
Fuck it, yeah. I mean, we need a Gem Knight card that when you play it, sends a light monster to the grave and a Gem Knight to the grave. And you can fusion summon out Saphronite.
You know what we need? A way to search Brilliant Fusion.
Holy shit.
I know that sounds really stupid.
Holy shit. No, that sounds bad.
Hear me out.
And not good, or not bad, but good bad. That sounds terrible.
Hear me out.
Okay.
The fact that they made Brilliant Fusion a Gem Knight support card, but didn't make it searchable in its own archetype, is a little fucked up.
That card, okay, Brilliant Fusion.
It's fucking good. There's no doubt about that. I'm not saying it should have a generic, it shouldn't have like a Rhoda. I'm just saying.
I've never seen an archetype heavy support card be used in so many fucking decks.
Same with Terratop.
Same with Terratop. I was going to say Dante, but no. I'll take that back. But no, not Dante. But mainly Terratop and Brilliant Fusion. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we see all these, types of archetypes and cards that we want as support and, things that we want to see the archetype do and not even necessarily to make it competitive, just to make it
playable.
Yeah. That seems to get hindered a lot though by things like the ban list.
Yeah.
The FL list is probably one of the biggest enemies to Yu-Gi-Oh in the entire world. Like think about cards like Arcla Christia. Remember when she was limited to 2, and I think she's still at 2? I don't know.
No, she's not.
Oh, yeah,
We've
yeah.
been over
right.
this.
That's right. Or cards like Tour Guide, or like, even though she wasn't an archetype heavy card.
I mean, that card was built to be abused.
Yeah. That was a TCG exclusive secret rare on the cusp of Exceeds coming out. Simple Exceed card, rank 3 all day. But when it comes to like,
you feeling down? Free rank 3.
When it comes to like archetypes that you love, or like even when you play meta, when you play competitive meta, the ban list does shit.
Yeah.
And it kind of starts to shut down things and ideas that you've had for that specific archetype. Has there ever been a time where the ban list has come out and said, fuck you?
No.
That's it?
Yeah, of course.
Like what?
Well, I'm a person that plays like I think I've said this before. Where I think I've played just probably like 90% of decks in general.
Okay.
And I tried to make shit work. So I've played almost every card.
Yeah.
So basically, if it's on the ban list, I probably tried to do something with it at some point.
Anything recent you want to talk about?
I kind of lucked out on the last ban list, except for E-Telly.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Because I kind of thought Top or
Everybody
Brilliant.
thought Top or Dante.
or Brilliant were going to kind of get hit a little bit, and then when they didn't, I was like, cool.
Oh yeah, I really thought Brilliant was going to hit
Oh,
too.
I was so like,
I bet
no.
you were happy about that.
Well, because I knew we were getting the Magnet Reverse card. That really helps out Gen Knight. So I was like, Brilliant Fusion to 1 would really kill this. Don't do it.
They didn't do it
They didn't do it yet.
yet.
They just need to hit Sephiroth.
To what though? They would have to hit it to none.
I think that'd be fine.
You be cool with that?
You don't really use it for Gem Knights.
Not in Gem Knights.
And see, that would solve the problem right there.
That would solve the problem. You're right. That's like banning Colombias.
Yeah.
Yeah, Teller Knight, Ptolemaeus, or whatever it was, but yeah.
The obvious problem of
the obvious problem. They're not going to ban Nova. They're not going to ban Infinity.
Yeah.
They're going to ban Ptolemaeus. I'd say the biggest thing, or the biggest time the ban list ever fucked me over was probably when Fables.
Oh.
Yeah. I my first regional top was with Fables, and I was running 3 Pot of Avarice.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Every synchro deck was.
To 1. And I was like, okay, fuck. Okay,
I can still make this work.
I can still do this. That's fine. 1 format later, banned.
It's
And I was
gone.
like, okay, goodbye, Fables.
Well,
Oh, and Brionic.
yeah. Brianna got hit too.
It's like, oh man. Has there any been like super competitive decks that you were playing, and then all of a sudden the balance came out, and you were like,
Pepe.
huh?
Pepe.
Yeah, do you want to talk about that for a minute?
We can.
Yeah.
It still hurts a little bit.
Yeah.
So for those of you that don't know, as soon as Japan got like the good Performal Pals, I guess that's really the only way to say it. Actually, no, I think I'd say I even picked it up when like the Performage, I really picked it up when Performage first came out.
Right.
I was like, these are very abusable good cards, and I'm very excited for this.
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling everyone, like, this is going to be good. Like, trust me, these cards are good. And everyone was like, eh.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't know.
Right.
What was right around the corner.
Right. They weren't paying attention to the OCG meta.
They were, I mean, I don't think they were just paying attention in general.
Yeah.
Because I was like, Clown Blade, and they were like, shut up, nerd.
Clown Blade is so goddamn good. Rank 4 typo.
And it's like, you know how you can, like, rank 4 a turn? Now double that. Now double it again. But so, like, when Pepe came out, I was like, yes. And I bought 2 boxes of Breakers of Shadow.
What'd you pull?
I pulled an Infinity
Uh-huh.
and 2 Sorcerers and 3 Twin Twisters.
Okay.
And then I immediately got a pack of whatever Ptolemaeus came out. I don't fucking remember. I think it was Cross Souls, yeah?
Ptolemaeus? Yeah, that was Cross Souls. Yeah.
Okay.
He had an Ultra and Ulti-print in that.
Yeah. I sadly only got the Ultra, but still. I was like, I'll pick up a few packs, see if I can't get this. And I totally got one, and I was
And
like,
you pulled one, you were like,
I am
Fuck.
one card away from this deck being completely done, and that was the last Sorcerer. Sorcerer was very hard to get, and no one wanted to give me theirs. I finally pulled my last one.
Yep.
2 days later,
The E-ban came out.
the emergency ban list came out, and I was so pissed because I have...
Monkey to 1. Joker to 1. Ptolemaeus gone. Yup. Yep. I feel it. I feel you, bro.
The reason why it's so extra frustrating still was we were actually going to a regional.
Oh, yeah. We were going to regional, like, I think 2 weeks after that? Yeah.
And I was like, I'm ready for this. I've been studying this deck for a long time. I know the ins and outs, and I'm not gonna like, oh my god, I'm such a good Pepe player. But
You had an idea.
I was pretty. You know what? Fuck it. I was a damn good Pepe player.
And that's how I feel about Metalfoes. I've studied the deck. I'm not the best Metalfoe player.
And I did not get to play the deck competitively at all.
Nope, you took fan nights.
Yep. I did all right.
I took super quantums. Hell yeah. I think the biggest time the ban list has ever fucked me over.
Dark Lock Kaiju Pass.
The biggest time that's ever really fucked me over was probably, I would say, Tour Guide to 1.
Oh, actually, you know what? There's another time where a
And I was playing.
competitive
I
deck,
just built BA at that point, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I'm ready to play BA."
and then
Yeah,
nope.
Tour Guide to 1. It's not a big hit, but it's a fucking hit. But
And then we all thought after that it was just gonna keep getting hit.
yeah, no,
Yeah, that didn't fucking happen.
nope.
Well, I guess it kind of did, but they didn't
Not
say
really.
about it.
Anyway, you were gonna say.
There was another competitive deck I wanted to play at a regional, and before I went to the regional, Tour Guide went to one, Jin got banned, and Prep went to one.
I can't believe I didn't admit or even say about the whole Necros thing
Yeah.
or Construct.
Oh yeah. Construct.
Oh, yeah.
That completely fucked me over
Construct
too.
went to 3-0.
Oh yeah, I was wanting to do Shadow Prediction Princess, and it was really good.
Remember the
because
time-
you could +2 every time, and then Construct got banned.
Remember the time of the post ban list after Laval Chain and Jin got banned?
Yeah.
Where Necros was still a deck? Remember the time I traded that my entire Cosmo deck? At that point in time. There was no Dark Destroyer or anything like that. But I traded that whole deck for Necros, and then a day later, everything got hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
For anyone who's curious why I was like Tour Guide and Jin and Prep was
Saphira Turbo.
yeah, there's a really cool Saphira build that came out that didn't come out. It when Necros came out, there you go. You could fight back easily with it with Saphira, and there was a guy who got like first, and I think he lost like one game.
I think that's second. I want to say second.
I'm pretty sure he got first.
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
First or either way, he topped.
Either way, yeah, that's a good deal.
He did really well with it and said, "This shit's really good," and Necros don't see it coming.
Let's just hope Jin doesn't get banned.
Tour Guide, Jin, and Prep.
Yep.
And I was like, "Fuck you."
And then it was dead.
Vanity is the one.
That weirdly killed the volcanic deck that was there for a while. It was a fun deck.
Although the ban list that screwed me over the most is the one that banned my favorite card in the game.
Which one's that?
I don't remember when she got banned, but Witch of the Black Forest, when she got banned.
Yeah.
That was a sad day. Knew it was coming, but damn.
I kind of want to move on to our closing
yeah.
topics.
Well,
Semi-closing topics. I want to wait for that. We have a special, very special
little hidden
surprise
gem
for
for
you
you.
guys. Talk about old cards, old shitty wording.
yeah.
Remember the original Errata? Move one warrior. Well, what?
We're moving?
So it doesn't search, but it moves? Anyway.
We shifted.
Kind of in closing, what are we looking to build soon? Like, I mean, what? Be it competitive, be it casual, or both. I mean, like, what are you excited about building soon?
Destiny Heroes, actually.
Okay.
I mean, I could say the obvious thing like ABC, but that's different.
Yeah.
After that, though,
I'm talking about heartfelt. Like, what are you most excited about building? What can't you wait to play? I mean, in anything coming out.
Phantom Knights.
Because of the Rank Up Magic.
The Rank Up Magic and Dark Requiem are both amazing cards.
They're gross.
And Star Venom is
They're gross. I would say Dark Lords. Can't wait to build Dark Lords. You know, you see the competitive play in Japan, and they're pretty fucking competitive. I don't know how they're going to be here. I really don't. Because OCG and TCG are two different things. Two very different things.
I think it'll still...
Well, of course. I think it'll be a thing. To what extent, though? I mean, you see in OCG lists, like, they're prominent. Here, they might, you know, have a few sporadic
I guess
tops.
It'll really depend on what things look like at that point.
Exactly. Also, another thing I'm pretty excited about building, which I think we should kind of talk about real quick. Jinu Shishis.
Yeah.
The new Beast Warrior deck coming out, which made Ultimate Rare Tenki spike the fuck up to like $50 a card.
Yeah, that's fun. I wanted that for fucking Moonlights.
I'm so glad I had my playset.
Oh man, fuck you.
So, I mean, we don't have to go over like what the cards do or whatever like that. I mean,
I was gonna count.
All of our listeners have a pretty good idea.
Yeah, they've already
about.
seen it. I was gonna count them, but I don't feel like doing that because there's way more than I thought there were.
Sad fact, guys, he doesn't know how to count past 5.
It's a problem. What do you think I'm talking about? A rank 3
freak out
deck?
when the number 5 comes along. That was clever. Yeah, no, the Junichi stuff is just amazing. Like, Terror Top needs to be hit.
No.
Terror Top and Invoker, dude.
Honestly, Invoker probably should get hit. I'm not just saying that so I can have my Speedroid deck, but
I will agree with you in the fact that Terror
honestly,
Top's been one of the, or not Terror Top, Invoker's been one of those cards that has just been abused.
It still hasn't been power crept.
No.
It's such an amazing card.
Because it doesn't negate the effect of the guy coming out. It has no drawback.
It's free.
No drawback.
It's fucking free.
Once it comes out, I mean, it's just... If you can't stop it, get ready to get OTK'd. Because if you want to stop certain power decks from coming out, you stop the Invoker play.
Yeah, you filler the shit out of that Invoker.
Yep. Or you warning it.
Well, yeah.
Or something.
It depends who's going first.
Yep. No, I agree with you. I think Invoker needs the hit. Terror Top.
Honestly, I think Terror Top probably should get hit. I hate saying that.
I mean,
but
we see it all the time right now. I mean, we see it in
a lot
especially
of it.
PK Fire. Right?
Yeah,
obviously, probably one of the goddamn dude.
Don't worry about me, babe.
Easily, probably one of the most insane cards of the format.
I mean, any card that's just like
it's a free rank 3.
Like Tour Guide.
Free rank 3 that doesn't even consume a normal summon. It's better than Tour Guide in my opinion.
Oh yeah,
which is gross. But yeah, I think it's gonna be, you know, it's hard to say because I mean, Junichis are gonna be a really good deck. It's gonna be a very exceed heavy, you know, thing where a lot of searching goes on, a lot of specialing goes on.
I mean, it's a combo deck for sure.
Would you say it's broken?
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I think here's what I would have to say. The first thing I thought of when I saw all these cards was cool.
And I don't want to get into what's your criteria being broken. I want to know what.
No, I'm gonna talk strictly about my opinion on the deck.
Okay.
When I first saw him, I was like, cool, whatevs. Then I actually kind of looked more into them, kind of dicked around a little bit with them. For anyone who doesn't think that they're good, you're stupid, and you should actually... I don't mean to just call our fans stupid, I guess, but...
They play Yu-Gi-Oh!
You know what? That's a fair point. But if you don't think that they're not going to be one of the top decks, play it. I urge you just to play it for 5 minutes.
They're a fucking search-heavy deck that special summons and exceeds off the fucking rip. Of course they're going to be good.
I know, but like my point is, like, when I first looked at him, I was like, cool.
Meh.
Yeah, exactly. I was like,
You had the Jade approach. Nah.
well, I wasn't like, it's gonna be.
What is
like,
that, fam nights? Gross.
I was just kind of like, I know it's gonna be good, but how?
Yeah, right.
And then I
Then
played
the
it.
spell and trap.
Well, not even that. I played it.
Right.
Like, I actually just played it, and I liked it a lot. And here's the thing. All I have to say about the deck really is, it's a good job. This is one of the best, like, ways to introduce an archetype in a long time.
In a long time. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think, like, the introduction to this deck is, it's not overpowering.
No, it's very, like...
And it's not power
It's
creepy.
really strong. It's really consistent. It's got all the factors you could possibly need in the deck for it.
Yeah.
But it's not... And it's very abusable. But...
Yeah.
It's not one of those decks where it's just like, cool, this is going to immediately destroy your face every single time.
No, it needs build up.
It's not... Like, to be fair,
It's not ABC.
it has moments where it can just go to, like, a single normal summon and get, like, 3 exceeds off of it that are, like, 4,000 attack, which is not immediately good. But the thing is, like, it's a combo deck. It's a really, really heavily
And now
combo
to some
deck.
players, when you say that, combo decks inherently mean, well, that's kind of bad because you need to set up and a whole bunch of...
Here's my definition of how you can make or break a combo deck.
Right.
First things first.
Yes.
The combos have to be good.
And with Junishishi...
They are. They're very good.
And they have Search?
They have, like I said, they have everything they need. They got Search,
absolutely.
they got Revival, they got anything you need. They got Pop. They can pop on your opponent's turn. They got Protection. All that shit. But the thing is, like, it's extremely toolboxy, too.
Yep.
Which is nice, because it opens up way more things. It's not going to be, like, the same dumb shit every single time.
I think the biggest thing is, in my opinion, is if you get, like, a deck like, you know, Junishishi's or whatever like that, like Rhoda, for example, is a one-of card. You just play it and you search. A card like Tenki means you play the card and you get to search, and it also is a power boost, but also it's a card to pop on the field, which they also rely on.
But here's the thing, like if you go on anywhere to actually try and play this deck, you'll run into someone else playing it right now.
Yep.
Everyone's really trying to fuck with it right now.
Especially the OCG. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Here's the thing about going against it that I've really learned, though. Okay. It has a lot of weak points if you interrupt it.
It does. It's a super interruptible deck.
If you interrupt it, which is super easy to do, you're going to be sitting there very, very frustrated for a while until you get it like another Tenki.
The thing with the deck, though, is like, you know, yes, it's very easily interrupted, but, I mean, you have to play around the interruption.
Yeah.
And it's going to be super meta, not by how the deck works alone. And what our listeners have to really realize, and what I think you and I have to really realize, especially over time, is it's going to be meta by number. By numbers. It's going to be numbers of people playing it. You know, like Necros, for example, it was, obviously that was a good deck, but that's because of numbers.
Right.
Just a lot of people are playing it. A lot of people are going to be playing the Junishishi thing, and I'm going to say they're not going to be disappointed. It's going to be cool, but it's super interruptible.
I just think this is the definition of a really
fair meta deck,
like,
for once.
Yeah, like,
is that what you're saying?
Yes and no, because there are some cards in it that I'm kind of like...
Well, of course. I mean, Invoker's going to kind of break that deck, but...
Well, I was more or less talking about, like, the main Exceed that can pop shit on your opponent's turn.
Oh, yeah.
like...
Totally forgot about that guy.
And then the other one
totally
that can just, like... But the thing is, like, the deck... It relies a lot on, like, one thing going very right.
Right.
And then once that opens up, it's like a...
I think once you get your normal or that first special summon off and the Tenki off, you're in the clear.
I just, like I've been playing it too, and, like, if I go to my first Exceed and they're like, warning, I'm immediately like, fuck.
Yep. Fuck.
I can't.
And it's also a very I'm going first type of deck.
Yeah, It blows through resources like fuck. Which is why they have a card that can help with that, but it's kind of...
Also, I just wanted to remind our listeners that we are on SoundCloud.
Yes.
We're on SoundCloud.com. That can. We are under, you go to the search bar and you can type in 2FG Podcast. you'll see our ugly mugs on a very
Staring into your soul.
very awesome fusion card from the set FAGS. So yeah, just go into SoundCloud.com, type in 2FG podcast, and you'll find us, and you'll get to hear us talk about this shit to you. It's pretty fun. Not for you, for us. I'm sure you'd rather drink bleach while we talk about this kind of shit.
I'm probably like, this introduction is fair.
Pod Desires is not a good card. It's a -9. These faggots know nothing. Shout out to our boy at Walmart.
Oh yeah, we almost forgot. Walmart.
What the fuck was that? Our producer's losing his goddamn mind over there. All right, so once again, real quick, SoundCloud.com, 2FG Podcast. Subscribe, listen to us.
Please.
Tell your friends about us. Not your mom, but hey, tell your mom
Tell
about
your
us.
mom. Tell your mom I said Rainbow Neos.
We're gonna
is still
finish
good.
off with a very different way. We finish off these episodes. You have a card for me, Memball.
So I was looking through a random box of old rares.
Okay.
Because I'm moving stuff around.
Did you find any hunkered hamburgers?
I'm sadly I did not.
Bummer.
All right, I'll just leave. But wording is a very big thing in Yu-Gi-Oh! In this game.
It's been a big thing for.
So sometimes you'll see an old card and you'll read it and you'll be like, okay, sure.
You'll keck a little bit. You'll be like, whatever.
But I wanted to share this with you because I want.
Also, I want to let the audience know that he's not shared this with me before before the episode.
No. I wanted this to be real.
So I have no idea what's coming.
I want you to try and understand
Okay.
what the fuck this is trying to say.
Okay. What's the card name
This is Gillosaurus.
from the set?
Something.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Gillosaurus.
It's a shitty dino card.
Okay.
That's
What's its stats?
It's a 14 attack.
Ooh.
It's a level 3. It's an earth
Ooh.
monster.
You can tour guide it.
You can tour guide any level 3, right? You can tour guide Terratop.
Tour guide?
Search your...
No. Tour guide? Insector Dragonfly?
Could you imagine this shit?
That would be gross, but alright.
So, seriously, I want... Like, it has another effect that's super irrelevant. It doesn't matter. This card
Okay.
is trash, but I want to see if you can...
Wrap my head around what the wording is trying to say.
So here's the first sentence.
And audience, play too. If you know what this means.
Like, this card has been updated, and this is why it blew my mind.
Okay. It has been updated?
It has been updated.
Okay.
So I'll tell you what it's supposed to be after.
So you know beforehand.
Yeah,
okay.
that's exactly why this card blew my fucking mind.
Okay. Just let me take a drink of beer real quick.
Okay. So let me know when you're ready for this.
All right. Give it to me.
You may treat the normal summon of
Okay.
this card.
Hold on. Okay. That's
Hold on.
already.
You can treat the normal summon of this card
Mm-hmm.
as a special summon.
Okay.
Tell me what you think that means.
Okay. Like, you know those GIFs when like people are trying to figure shit out and it's like all those math equations
Yeah.
and like circles and shit. Like that's what's going on. This is going on in my fucking head right now. You may treat the normal summon. First off, you may treat as a
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
You may treat the normal summon of this card as a special.
Also, I
summon.
want to point out that any old card that says may instead of can is hilarious.
Yeah, that's garbage.
This card may attack your opponent's life points directly if you wanna.
Pod Desires, banish 10 cards from the top of your deck. Treat them as face down. You may treat the normal summon of this card as a special summon. Okay, so what that means to me, just that wording, I'm excited to know the rest. Just that wording alone means you can normal summon him, which means you've special summoned him, which means you still have a normal summon yet to go.
Really?
That's what that. I mean, I'm retarded, but I'm guessing
That's actually pretty spot on. So,
okay.
what it's supposed to say, you can special summon this card from your hand. So when I
Can you imagine Cyber Dragon having that wording?
Because when I first read this card, I actually thought this was a neat concept, like a normal summon monster that can be considered a special summon. So maybe they'll be.
Can you imagine Goofy saying that?
But like, doesn't it? When you hear it, you think, okay, so it's a monster that you normal summon that can count as a special summon to trigger whatever, right? Like maybe there's a dino that special summons when you special summon, so blah blah blah.
It sounds like a shitty cue card somebody's holding.
But
Okay.
no,
Okay.
it's supposed to be you throw it on the field.
Okay.
The rest of the card's very irrelevant, but old wording is still hilarious. So
Okay,
it's fine.
read the rest.
If you select special summon,
Whoa.
your opponent may select a monster card from his or her graveyard and special summon the monster to the field.
Give me the card. This is fascinating. Okay. So the full effects, listeners. Gillosaurus from Labyrinth of Nightmare.
That's what it was. I couldn't remember that.
You may treat the normal summon of this card as a special summon. If you select special summon, your opponent may select a monster card from his or her graveyard and special summon that monster's field. So I think what it's supposed to say, you can special summon this card from the hand. If you do so, your opponent can special summon it from the grave.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Fascinating, isn't it?
This is my favorite fucking card of all time now.
I first read it and I was like, this is really. First of all, the second effect is fucking terrible. But
I think the meta funny card in like any like Yu-Gi-Oh circle is like Rhoda, the original Rhoda. Move one warrior. Nah, not anymore.
Fucking Gillosaurus.
Gillosaurus he's the shit. He's the
like.
Can you imagine how many times like judges have like just headached over that card?
I really hope we bring this up to Chris Klein. He's like, ugh.
I want to make sure that gives any like head judge a migraine upon sight.
Like, I want to play a shitty Dino deck and just play 3 of this old version.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's skedaddle on to end phase.
Make this shit happen.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how-
So,
Yeah.
That's good. Why would we
Let's
take
skedaddle
this
on
long?
to end phase. Our main phase was long and arduous.
We
Our
didn't know
standby was tight.
we didn't know what we were doing. We had to look at our hand.
We have a few
you know.
cards set. Whatever.
It took us that long to summon Gillis.
Actually, it took us that long to set 2 pass.
My man Shark.
So, anyways, okay, real quick, I want to bring that up real quick. So, my daughter's in love with Yu-Gi-Oh. My daughter's in
Yeah.
love with the show Yu-Gi-Oh.
Just watching the original
Yep.
series.
And my wife came home from work, and she and I and my daughter were all watching Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal.
Yeah.
Whatever. My daughter's like just face first in a pizza, and she's watching, and she's like, yeah. All of a sudden, Shark comes on screen. The purple-haired faggot with the
guy who plays sharks.
There you go. And he's like, I placed 2 cards face down in my spell and trap card zone, and I end my turn. And I was like, so you set 2 pass? Anyway. So yeah. During end phase, I want to declare that SoundCloud.com again. That we are 2FG podcast. You can search us. Once again, you'll see our ugly mugs on a very, very overpowered card, I would say, from the set FAGS.
Yeah.
Anything you wanna say to the people?
Stock up on your Gillosaurus.
Hashtag Gillosaurus at your boy Walmart. All right, man. I'm Jade fucking Nelson.
And I'm Manball Godfat.
See you fuckers later.